In the quiet early hours of March 30th, 2025, tragedy struck in the city of Alexandria, Louisiana, shattering the illusion of what many believed was a perfect love story. A heated domestic dispute spiraled violently out of control, ending in the death of 38-year-old Shaterica Smith, a vibrant mother of two whose infectious smile and joyful spirit once lit up every room she entered. The incident unfolded inside a home on Ronmar Drive, where an argument between Shaterica and her husband, 42-year-old Tracy Johnson, took a deadly turn. In a shocking act of betrayal, Tracy, the very man who had vowed to cherish and protect her, fatally shot Shaterica before turning the gun on himself in a final, devastating act. Authorities were called to the scene around 4:30 a.m. after reports of a domestic disturbance. When officers arrived, they were met with a haunting silence and the heartbreaking discovery of two lifeless bodies. The case was immediately classified as a domestic violence-related murder-suicide, leaving the community stunned and two young children suddenly orphaned. The world knew her as the radiant Shaterica Smith, a 38-year-old mother of two whose smile could light up an entire room and whose presence turned ordinary days into dazzling celebrations. To her friends, family, and thousands of social media followers, Shaterica was the embodiment of happiness, a woman who seemed to have it all: beauty, love, style, and a picture-perfect family. But appearances, as they say, can be deceiving. Sometimes what glitters most brightly hides the darkest of shadows. Shaterica lived in Alexandria, Louisiana, a vibrant city filled with life, laughter, and, unfortunately, a higher-than-average crime rate. Yet, despite the dangers lurking in the city, no one could have imagined that the greatest threat to Shaterica would come not from a dark alley or a random stranger, but from the very man she had vowed to love forever. When Shaterica met Tracy Johnson, a 42-year-old charmer with a smile smooth enough to melt the iciest heart, it felt like destiny. They quickly became inseparable. Their love was so intoxicating it made others feel dizzy, like watching the final scene of a romantic movie play out in real life. On social media, they were couple goals, the duo everyone envied. They traveled together, partied together, danced like teenagers in love, and posted endless photos of romantic getaways and cozy date nights. "I love you, Tracy. I love you more, baby." To the outside world, they were flawless, the kind of couple that made single people sigh and question their life choices. Their wedding was a grand celebration, a day that looked like a dream come true. For Shaterica, it was supposed to be the beginning of forever, but sometimes forever comes with fine print that no one reads. As time passed, their perfect facade began to chip. Behind the glittering smiles and loving captions, tension brewed. Shaterica was vibrant, free-spirited, and full of life. She loved to dress beautifully, sometimes boldly, and enjoyed nights out with friends. Even after marriage, she clung to her individuality, wearing what she loved and posting fun, playful, and sometimes flirty videos online. But Tracy didn't like sharing the spotlight. What had once drawn him to her, her independence, her spark, her boldness, now became the very thing he tried to control. It started small: disapproving looks, passive-aggressive comments. Then came fights, louder and more frequent. While social media continued to paint a perfect portrait of bliss, their home became a battlefield. Shaterica's posts grew cryptic. A few friends noticed her captions hinted at loneliness and frustration, but most scrolled past, still blinded by the illusion of perfection. But Tracy's grip on reality began to slip. The more Shaterica lived freely, the more he felt he was losing her, and his desperation turned dangerous. March 30th, 2025 began like any other night, but it ended in unspeakable tragedy. At around 4:30 a.m., Neighbors on Ron Marr Drive were startled by screams followed by a deafening crack, the unmistakable sound of a gunshot splitting the early morning silence. Inside the home, Shaterica and Tracy were locked in yet another heated argument. This wasn't just about going out with friends or social media posts anymore. It was about control, possession, and Tracy's terrifying belief that if he couldn't have Shaterica, no one else ever would. Like a storm cloud that suddenly bursts, Tracy's rage reached its breaking point. With chilling finality, he grabbed the gun and turned their once loving home into a crime scene. In a moment of irreversible violence, he shot Shaterica, silencing her laughter, her dreams, and her future in a single cruel instant. But his final act of selfishness didn't stop there. Overcome by guilt, or perhaps the realization that the world would now see the monster behind the mask, Tracy turned the gun on himself, ending his own life. When police arrived after a frantic 911 call, they walked into a scene of devastation. 2 lifeless bodies, 2 innocent children suddenly orphaned, a home filled with memories, now forever haunted by violence. Authorities later confirmed that Shaterica had died from an apparent gunshot wound, while Tracy's death was ruled a self-inflicted injury. The illusion was shattered. The couple everyone envied turned out to be a tragedy waiting to unfold. Shaterica's family, friends, and community were left stunned. How could the man who once vowed to protect her become the one who destroyed her? Did the relentless pressure to keep up appearances on social media play a role in their unraveling? The very platform where Shaterica once shared her joy became the same place where people learned of her death. Photos that once sparked envy now served as painful reminders of what was lost. Shaterica's 2 children now face a future without their loving mother and with haunting memories of the tragedy that stole both parents from them. Shaterica Smith was more than a headline. She was a vibrant soul, a devoted mother, and a friend who could turn even the dullest gatherings into a celebration. Her life is a stark reminder of the silent battles so many endure behind closed doors. As we remember Shaterica, may her story serve as a warning and as a call to action to protect survivors of domestic violence before it's too late. Rest in peace, Shaterica. Your light was stolen too soon, but your memory will never fade.